What's up, everybody? This is Julie and Kathleen with another episode of my favorite episode of today. We have a very special guest. We are geeking out hardcore. We have Julia Lester from High School Musical, the musical, the series. You guys know how much we ride for this show.
We may or may not name drop a quote or reference High School Musical, the series, somehow on every episode of this frickin' podcast.
It's true.
Hey, Julia.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here. This is actually my very first podcast ever, so very excited.
Oh my gosh,
Amazing.
what an honor.
We got to step it up. We got to bring our A game.
We got to make sure you love it.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to start this off with your very first quote, I'm pretty sure, on the show, which is, "I'm dying, I'm deceased," which is exactly how I feel.
Oh my God.
So all three of us decided literally last night we were going to re-binge the show really quick. And
oh my God.
And we did it. We did it.
Does it hold up? If my boss is listening to this, I swore I was working while I was watching all 10 episodes today during the workday.
Oh my God, yes. It's honestly like been a really good quarantine activity to go back and watch some of my favorite episodes. Like, I'm not ashamed. Like, it's good. It's a good show.
Oh my God, it's so good. Me and Kathleen, so we're childhood friends. So we grew up, Disney Channel, Hannah Montana was our show. Like, we still quote Hannah Montana till this day.
Yes.
But High School Musical, or all three movies, were like, I found a Facebook status a couple weeks ago that was like, over Kathleen's waiting for High School Musical 2 to come on.
It's literally ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. So when this show came out, we were like thinking like, oh, we're too old for this. Like, this is like for like the younger kids like that didn't get a High School Musical. And then I started it and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I texted Kathleen. I was like, you need to watch High School Musical, the series. It's so good. The whole cast is amazing. I just want you guys, like, you to know that. Spread it to your
friends, your pals.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very lucky to work with such wonderful, talented people. Everyone is so talented as much as they are nice and gracious. So, yeah, it's a really good cast.
You guys seem like your best friends in real life
We
as well.
are.
And it really shows. It shows on screen. You guys are adorable. Truly adorable.
So glad. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, see, like, I don't know. I haven't seen High School Musical in a long time, like the actual movie. But I feel like, I don't know that it would hold up for me, but this was like, and I don't know, I could be 100 and still be watching teenage dramas and probably still love it because we're 27 now. But damn, this show is like so charming. It has that nostalgic piece to it that reminds you of High School Musical, but it's like its own thing. It's fucking great.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm so glad. That means we did our job, so thank you for that. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, we ride for Ashlyn, by the way.
Yes, we do.
We did an episode on this in December or January or whenever it was, and we hype you up big time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
So, fun fact about us, the person who wrote Wondering actually went to our high school.
I heard about that. That's nuts. Jordan, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah, she co-wrote it with Josh Cumpy, and they are just amazing. That's so cool that you know her.
I know.
Such a small world.
We messaged her and we were like, we're obsessed. Like, great. Because it's kind of the same thing. Like, we wanted to make sure that we could like reference knowing her. Like, we don't really know what all the rules are. So it was kind of the same way. And that's absolutely like, we're 100% on the same page that that's the best song in the series.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good.
A powerhouse.
Yeah.
Truly. Oh, thank you.
Okay, Julia, so over to you. Normally on this show, we would have the guests pick their favorite TV episode of their favorite show. Mm-hmm. If you had to choose, what would you have chosen?
Okay, so my two favorite shows are Orange is the New Black and Broad City. Mm-hmm. And I love the pilot for Broad City is just absolutely genius. So that's probably one of my favorite episodes of that show. And then for Orange is the New Black, I don't know what episode number it is, but it's called Bora Bora Bora. And they like do like the Scared Straight kind of thing for like these kids.
Oh, yes.
That's also one of my favorite episodes, as well as the the first episode of season 3. It's like a Mother's Day episode. That one's also really good.
You see, so I loved Orange is the New Black, and I don't know, for me, like, just like High School Musical, the musical, the series, like, I would have ended up, if we didn't talk to you, I would have ended up re-binging season 1 before season 2 came out anyway, because I feel with binge shows like this, I need to refresh my memory. So with Orange is the New Black, I was doing that, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, we're in season 4 or 5. I gotta re-binge 4 or 5 seasons now.
Yeah,
and then it stresses me out, and I keep saying I'm gonna get to it, and then I don't. So I quit on the season where like the inmates were running the asylum, basically, which was such a good season. So I don't know why I quit then.
That's actually funny that you say that, because it was my favorite TV show up until, well, I mean, it's still one of my favorite TV shows, but I didn't actually watch the very last season. And my sister was like, oh my God, how dare you? Yeah. So she was actually staying with me for part of quarantine. And we decided to re-binge the entire series, because in order to watch the last season, I feel like I have to restart it, like you said. So we did restart it. And then we got through season 5, which is the one that you're exactly talking about. So I'm actually in the middle of that season as we speak. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to get through all of them, because it is like, 45-hour long episodes, but it's really good. I think the first like 4 or 5 seasons like definitely hold up.
So what is this last season? 6?
7.
Oh, see, right? That's a lot for me.
I know.
Yeah, it is a lot.
But I need to catch up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's still so good. Like I love Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, I think I watched 1 and 2, and I got through 1 and 2 really fast, because I am late to every party. Like, I won't watch shows. Everyone's watching them, and then like season 5 will come out, and someone will be like, you have to watch it. So then I just start watching it. So I'm like always late.
She binged Game of Thrones all right before the last season came out.
Oh my God.
So everyone was mad at the ending, and I was like, I thought it was okay.
Yeah. Invested exactly 0 amounts of time into it.
Exactly. But I think I stopped Orange is the New Black at season 3, because I couldn't get through it. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know, like, if I just was like another show came up and I was just like, I'm going to put this on hold, and then never went back to it. Yeah. But I do remember loving season 1 and 2. I love finding out their stories as to why each one of them is there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. I also have like a really weird fascination with like plots involving prison. So just like the whole concept in general is very intriguing. But yeah, I love ensemble shows. And so when it takes place in a prison, that's always kind of like a surefire, like, oh, this will definitely be an ensemble show. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite aspects about it.
You got any other prison shows to suggest?
Okay, well, one of my other favorite shows called Wentworth, and it is kind of like, I wouldn't say the Australian version of Orange is the New Black, but it's an Australian prison show that was made around the same time, but it's like a straight drama, super dark, like so different from Orange, but still the same kind of like, prison gang like concept. And that's also really good. I would highly recommend if you like dark dramas.
Will do. Putting that on the list. And
yes.
Speaking of not dark at all, Broad City is one of the best shows of all time.
Yes.
I just watched the premiere of season 5. Is one of my favorite TV shows ever. The one where it's fully an Instagram story for Abby's 30th birthday.
So genius. The two of them are just, I mean, they can do no wrong. So genius.
Absolutely. Like I've seen it 10 times and I laugh out loud even more. Each time I watch it, I think it's funnier. It's so good. That's the episode I would have chosen for Broad City, but they're all so good. You're right.
Yeah, and actually me and then Frankie and Joe, who play Carlos and Seb on High School Musical, were super close, and I've been able to see them during quarantine because they live super close to me here in Salt Lake, so we can keep our bubble small together, and we have just restarted binge watching Broad City together. So I think we're on like season... I think like 3 at this point, and like literally all the jokes are still fresh. I crack up every time. It is so genius. I just like the whole concept, every episode having a different crazy storyline is just perfect. I love it.
It's like something to aspire to, although you don't actually want to be in their shoes because of how insane it is.
Yes, exactly.
But it's cool to live vicariously through them a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, I have a dumb question. I have pitched High School Musical to so many people, but was the original one actually shot in that high school, like in Utah? Like, are you shooting in Utah?
Yeah, so I actually live in Salt Lake City because of the show. I moved from LA here, and we do film in the real East High. I know in the movie it takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but it was all shot here in Salt Lake. So we're at the real high school, which is a real functioning school in normal life. which is nuts. Like real kids go there. But yeah, we film at the real school and it's pretty nuts.
It's just going to keep getting like more and more meta where like the kids at that school are now going to do like High School Musical as their musical. And just like,
I know.
All right. So we have a big question for you.
Sure.
Season 2 is allegedly going to be Beauty and the Beast. It's like almost confirmed. That's what everyone's thinking. But if you, Julia, had to choose one musical to do, what would it be? Any musical. It doesn't have to be Disney affiliated or anything. What would you choose?
This is easy, and it just happens to be Disney affiliated, so that's a bonus. I have said since after we finished filming season 1, you know, we were always like, oh, like, what do you think the school musical is going to be? Like normal high school kids, like wondering what their spring musical is. And from the beginning, I've said Into the Woods would be so fun. I just think there's so many characters that our show reflects and that we could play and gender bend and do something cool. And also to sing Sondheim with like my favorite people would be really awesome. So I always say Into the Woods. That would be really fun. What do you guys think?
Oh my God, we're big musical people. So I have to say it depends on my age. If I was a little kid, Annie for sure. And I would crush tomorrow like no other, okay?
Annie.
As an adult, this is not Disney related at all, but probably Grease because I love Grease.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also both big Mamma Mia people.
Oh my God.
Hairspray is so good too.
I know. We are big Mamma Mia Hairspray people. But wait, Julia, were you Into the Woods at some point in your life?
Yeah, I've done Into the Woods twice, actually. The first time I played Milky White, so honestly, star. And both of my sisters were in that production. So I was Milky White, my middle sister was Little Red, and then our oldest sister was Baker's wife. So that's like a really cool like family memory we all have. And then when I was 18, one of my first like professional shows I did outside of high school was Into the Woods, and then I played Little Red in that the second time.
Yeah, see, when you're like in something like that, and me and Julie, it's like Julia and Julie and stuff. It's like you're the modern day Meryl Streep and frickin' whatever. But yeah, but we were saying like we were not in musicals, but I wish that we were, but we're not talented at all.
I know.
But I did dance my whole life, so every time I had a recital with like the million songs I did each recital, like that, like I did my first recital ever was like an Anastasia song. So like if I ever hear that song, it makes me like stop in my tracks.
Is
and
it
like
Once Upon a December?
Yeah. So I could
course.
see why Into the Woods would like have that like heart like connection for you. I would feel exactly the same. Like I did, what is that, like Hey Little Girl with the Cash to Burn, that Zac
Lady's
Efron
Choice.
sings. Yeah, Lady's Choice. I did that in a tap dance. So that's another reason why I love Hairspray so much, because I did it a 3-minute dance one time to it.
First of all, my pick would be Little Shop of Horrors. I would love to like see the recasting of the High School Musical kids in Little Shop. But furthermore, to bounce back to the Into the Woods, have you thought about who your casting choices would be for the High School Musical, the series, Into the Woods production?
Wow. Oh, man.
That's a great question.
That is a good question.
Okay, well, definitely we've all joked about this, but like Big Red as Little Red would be kind of iconic.
Yes.
We love him.
Yes, he's the best. I don't know. I think the only one I've actually really thought about is Courtney as the witch. I feel like that would just be... That's parts just like made for Dara. So probably that. But I don't think I've actually put much thought into the casting, which is funny. I just think that we could all, I don't know. I feel like if it were to happen, we would all be cast as roles that you probably wouldn't expect as an audience, because that's kind of what our show does at this point. So yeah, I feel like even if I did cast it would probably be the complete opposite.
I hope Courtney is like for next season does get it like a major role. I loved that like come up. And also, my God, I need to ask, Little Red, was he actually tap dancing at the end of that? Because that was fucking awesome.
Did you call him Little Red?
No, Big Red. Sorry, Big Red. Little Red. Little Red Riding Hood? Big Red.
Yeah.
Did you call him Little Red? Big Red.
Yeah, Larry is a trained tap dancer. He's been tap dancing since he was, I don't want to get it wrong, I think since he was like 12 or 13. I hope that's not incorrect, but he's freaking incredible, and that was all him at the end of the show. And yeah, he basically waited all season for that moment, so it was really cool getting to watch him do what he's one of his best things, which is tap dancing. So yeah, that was all him.
I have a prediction, and I know you can't tell me if I'm right, but
Okay.
I predict that if it is Beauty and the Beast, Courtney is Mrs. Potts.
Okay.
Because of that voice.
Because of that
Because of that
voice.
killer
Got it.
Like,
voice.
can you picture her singing like Tale as Old as Time?
Yeah, with tears running down my face.
Oh, yeah.
Like, same.
Honestly, any of you with tears running down my face.
I know.
It's honestly ridiculous watching, like, quote unquote, I know you guys are, some of you at least are older than this, but like 17-year-olds like conversing and I'm just like tearing up. I'm 27 years old and I'm just like, wow, this is incredible. Like, I was telling Julie before this, like the season finale when you're actually putting on the show and Ricky and EJ are switching and everyone's swapping and I'm so stressed out. And then it goes from full stress to being like, this could never happen. Why are they just letting this happen? It's driving me insane. To like them singing Breaking Free and then Ricky confessing his love and I was just like crying in the club. Just crying in the club.
Yeah, theater does that to you, doesn't it?
I know. I love that.
That I love you speech will forever hit different.
Oh man, I know, huh? Oh,
so good.
We like rewatched that scene as a cast, like for this video the other day, and it was so crazy because Josh had like never seen that scene before, and so like watching him watch it and his reaction was like really cool because it's a very special scene.
Yeah, I actually watched that like video that came out of you guys all watching like the different scenes. Yeah, and I sent it to them because that was like one of the things that we talked about where it's like you can see that you guys are all best friends in real life, which is so cool to see. Especially like when you hear about like big shows where once they're over, they're like, these two stars hated each other. And like, and it's like, damn, that sucks. But like, you can tell that you guys are like super tight. Were all of you strangers, I'm assuming, going into this?
For the most part, Josh and I actually did a musical like 3 months before we both booked High School Musical. So I actually knew him before the show. And I had met a couple of the other cast members like in passing at auditions, but for the most part, like we really didn't know each other. It was all a very like, fresh relationship to build. And we have, all of that thanks is to Tim Federle, our creator, because he was like really, he really pushed for us to bond and connect and get to know each other. And that's how we're so close is really because of him. So
literally, I'm watching you guys do like stick to the status quo. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fun. So what was it like being on a TV show that was about a musical? Very
special. I mean, I am a diehard theater kid at heart. Theater was like, the very first kind of performing arts I got into. And it's very special to be able to do a show that incorporates all of my favorite things. And especially to have the topic of theater as part of that is really special. And I think that the fact that we're all theater kids at heart really made the show what it is, because I don't know. I think it would have been completely different if Tim had found kids that weren't originally theater kids, and we all did theater growing up. So I think that's also why it worked so well in the show. And it's very special.
Well, and speaking about that, like one of the things that made me love Disney Plus right away was that I was one of the kids I was a stage crew kid for all 4 years of high school. So to get Disney Plus, and they basically, the first couple shows were just love letters to theater because they had your guys' show and then they also had Encore going at the exact same time. And it was such a cool, like it's clear that Disney knew who the audience was that was getting Disney Plus right away, and it was going to be a lot of theater kids.
Yes, their marketing team is on their game.
Yeah.
Disney knows what to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have to ask, how hard was it for you to keep your composure when EJ was singing the song he wrote for Nene?
Oh my God. Honestly, I don't know if I needed to keep my composure more. I needed to like not cheer on Matt so much because it was like so exciting getting to, because like when we all like have a song that's specific to our character, it's always like a big deal when we get to finally shoot it and perform it. And that was actually a reshoot that we did, so we hadn't seen Matt really get to kind of step into that like solo spotlight. So for the most part, I was just trying to keep like the face that Ashlyn was supposed to have in the song because Julia was just like beaming for Matt.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, he's wonderful. So it was more me having to make those faces because I would have just been smiling and excited for him the whole time. But yeah, the song is very funny. We did have some laughing fits during that shoot too, for sure.
It's funny because the first time I watched it, I was like cringing during it because it's so funny. Like, you don't like look at it through those eyes where that is his big moment. And it's obviously like the way you're looking at him is like, you're doing, that's fine. Yeah, good, keep going. But by this time when I was watching it, and since I've listened to the soundtrack a million times, I was like, I kind of like this song.
I wish you sang it to her.
Yeah.
I know.
It's definitely a bop. Just like probably not appropriate for what's going on in EJ's life. But
100%.
Had you written it at a different time, it would have been a bop nonetheless. But for a breakup or for like a makeup song, I don't think it worked very well.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched it, Ashlyn in that entire scene is just so funny. And like at first I'm like, oh wait, like she's into it. Maybe like the song's going somewhere, and then it like goes to your face and it's just like you're so like, oh God, like stop. And I'm like, wait, not into it.
Yeah, she's supportive and kind. I think that's what I like about Ashlyn is that like I would have just like bust out laughing and been like, EJ, you idiot. But Ashlyn is so supportive and wonderful and definitely nicer than I am.
I gotta give you props on how you portray Ashlyn, because she was immediately one of my favorite characters. Like, so funny, every one-liner, but also in a way that's like really genuine and a way like I said in our podcast episode, like EJ. Am I saying EJ right now? That I said Little Red, I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? But EJ is like kind of in the beginning, you're like kind of rooting for him, and then he just goes like downhill. But I say like Ashlyn humanizes him and makes me think, okay, well, if Ashlyn gives him a chance, then I could give EJ a chance, because you're so genuine. And I loved the Big Red storyline where he is just noticing you and telling you all the things that like you might not have heard before, but like you definitely deserve. And I'm like, hell yeah, Big Red. I'm like, that is my girl. You better tell her.
Yes, the one quote I wrote down that he was like, when he's at your house setting up for the party, and he like points to the piano and he's like, is that where you wrote that thing? And you're like, what thing? And he's like, that Sarah Bareilles thing about regrets.
Yeah.
Like, he's so like awkward but like so sweet. And then like with the flower situation,
I know.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, he really knows the way to Ashlyn's heart, and I love that about him. I think he's such a great role model for, boys, and I mean everyone. He's so sensitive and loving, and is still a bro when he needs to be a bro, but he's just this like gushy little kid who is, like trying to make a good impression. Big Red is such a little cutie.
I can't remember what the exact line is. I'm going to butcher it, but my favorite Big Red to Ashlyn line was like, the only thing I'd put on you is a bigger spotlight, because I like the way you sing. I was like, oh my God.
No, it's so slick. Jesus.
What are the table reads like for this? Are they just like funny and sweet and love fests?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I love table reads. Table reads are wonderful. I mean, everyone is different, obviously, because each one is a different episode, but it's really cool to be able to kind of sit down during the middle of the week and start to, plan ahead on what's coming, because we usually read the upcoming script in the middle of whatever episode we're shooting. So it's always a nice time to kind of sit down and get kind of like the main crew around us. And that's when we get to meet the new director, and we get to hear the songs for the first time at the table read. So yeah, it's always a really special day when we have table reads.
And a few of the songs were live, right? So Wondering was live.
Yes. Wondering was live. I think I Kinda was live, both versions. Basically all the acoustic sounding songs that didn't have like full bands in the background were all live. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd be gushing if I watched that live.
I'm dying thinking Wondering was live. Like, oh my God, you are so good.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was peeing in my pants the entire time. That was one of the scariest but most special days of my life, for sure. So thank you. I so appreciate that.
I can imagine that you were rooting for EJ during his scene. Like, everyone was rooting for you, yes. I assume.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. Our cast is so supportive. So whenever we, a certain character has a special standout moment or whatever, we always make a point to come to set that day, even if we're not called. So it was really nice having a lot of the cast there supporting us and, just hanging out on set just to be there and make us feel good. So it's a really nice environment. And I definitely was only able to perform because of the people around me. So that was, really nice.
I want to bounce back to something you said earlier, and I want to make sure I didn't mishear this. So did you say that you got the episode scripts for the following, like essentially you were filming one episode and then like would get the script for the next week's episode kind of in the middle?
Yeah, it's different for each episode depending on like how our schedule works, but for the most part we don't read scripts past whatever episode we're filming, which is very smart because, our characters are living in the moment. So we don't want to know what's happening in episode 10 if we're only playing episode 3. So we only know like whatever episode we're filming. So let's say, we're in the middle of filming episode 2 and we'll get to we usually take 2 weeks per episode ish. We'll get to the last week of filming episode 2. And then the next week we would start episode 3. So during that last week of 2, we would get the script for 3. Wow, that was so many numbers.
Well, I guess what I was going to ask is do you think that I'm sure there had to have been in that case, do you think that there were changes to the scripts made as you as actors became closer and better friends where they started to maybe heighten those relationships even more because they knew that the chemistry was already naturally there?
Oh, wow. I don't really know from that standpoint because that's definitely, I'm not sure if rewrites happen because of that, but I definitely know that there are a ton of rewrites that happen between the table read and when we actually film. So I don't know what the reason is behind that. Usually it has to do with tech or location or, something doesn't work or whatever. But there's the table read script that we do at the table read is usually very different from what we actually shoot. So there are a lot of rewrites that happen. But I don't really know the reasons behind them, but either way they're great. So yeah.
I would like to think that does happen, that they can see the chemistry between, I don't know, are the writers there? Are the writers on set at all?
We usually, Tim is always there, of course, because he's the showrunner and he's the head writer. So he's always there relaying back to the writing team. But the writing team actually writes all the scripts before we even get to production part. So they have a writing team for months. They write all the scripts. And then once we actually get on set, then I think it's more of a virtual conversation between Tim and the team in LA. Mm-hmm. But usually there's one head writer that's put on the front page per episode. And usually they come and visit set when that happens. Not every time, but the writers are usually on a phone in LA.
Are you guys shooting now?
We are not. We stopped in March, of course, because of quarantine. And so, we're all just waiting to go back. Hopefully soon, though. Hopefully.
Oh, that was going to be my question.
For a season
that just
2.
means it's pushed back. Damn it, COVID.
I know.
It's not going to come out till 2021 now. So
it's devastating.
I know.
We still have so many episodes to film. So it's at this point it's definitely not going to come out this year, but it'll still be as exciting, I hope, when it comes out.
100%.
Definitely. We'll probably binge it 6 more times.
I know.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that gives us enough time to just keep watching it over and over again.
Perfect.
What can you tell us about season 2? Anything?
Well, I can say that there's a lot more music, which is very exciting.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
We love that.
Yes, and more original songs, which I think is one of the best parts about our show is the music. So definitely more music, which equals more dancing. I think the show has been heightened. We did get to film the first 2 episodes, so I got to experience a little bit of how season 2 is going to feel different than season 1. And it's definitely bigger and bolder, more dramatic, just heightened, I think, in the best way possible. So that's very exciting.
I have in my mind 3 3 of the best scenes / songs in this.
Okay.
In this.
I don't even know what she's about to say.
So I have to pull out my notes. I had them this whole time and then I just put my phone down. So I think the 3 best moments in this show. so far
God,
is Wondering with Ashlyn and Nene, which like you obviously know that because we haven't stopped talking about it.
Yeah, and that hasn't changed because that's exactly what we all said in the first episode we recorded.
Born to be Brave with Nene and Courtney and Carlos and Ashlyn. Like the whole like Carlos and Ashlyn dancing together, just like it just really does it for me.
EJ's like, you gotta feel bad for him, and you just
she's
pop
like,
right
nope.
up.
Yeah, right.
God, slay, queen.
And then obviously the I love you speech. Can you tell us like from? I know this is probably a really hard question, being there doing the whole thing, but do you have like a favorite moment or favorite quote from the show?
Oh my God, this is so boring. I feel like I say this every time I get asked this question, but my two favorite. It's so weird. I'm not going to say Wondering, which is nuts. I feel Wondering definitely was like one of the best days of my life, but also very scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not going to say Wondering, but I'm going to say definitely Born to be Brave, as well as the Thanksgiving episode. I think just those two episodes in general were big bonding moments for us as a cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all have really great memories from those 2 episodes specifically. So yeah, I would say those for sure.
I'm so glad you mentioned the Thanksgiving episode because I watched that today while I was doing my like re-binge. As a 35-year-old man, I was having FOMO for that party.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish
my God.
miss having these type of parties where it's just like,
Root
hey,
beer.
yeah, the parents aren't home. Like, let's just hang out and play a board game together. And it's like the most innocent party, but you feel like a badass anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
A turning point for me, especially on my second watch, is when Gina starts to get into the group, because I mean, I feel for her and I knew she had the potential, because in the beginning she was being kind of rotten, but she's so talented and so good. But then once you learn her backstory, you're just rooting for her so hard. Yeah. So when her and Ricky start getting close, and of course, like, I mean, we can all assume that she's going to live with Ashlyn for season 2, which is why she can stick around. Hopefully we have her because she's so good. I just really loved, and again, that's where the Thanksgiving episode comes in, where she's a big part of that. She's never been to a sleepover. I'm like, that's kind of a turning point, because like the EJ drama kind of ends and Gina drama kind of ends, and they all start becoming the big family, and that's like incredible.
Yeah, I think that's really something very special that Tim, helped create for the character Gina, because you want to paint her as the villain, but then as the show goes on, her actions are slightly justified. I mean, all high school kids are complicated and, have home lives that, we don't know about, and they act out and do things that don't make sense sometimes. And I just think that she's such a wonderful, complex character that I don't think the audience was really ready for, especially to see that super soft side of Gina. And just like Sophia's a heartbreaker. I mean, that episode, we cry every time. She's just so wonderful. So yeah, I really think that was a very special episode for her character specifically as well, because we got to kind of see why she was the way she was for the 6 previous episodes.
Yeah.
It almost makes me hope that like season 2, as much as I loved all the drama of the first couple episodes, like now it's like, I just want you all to be friendly and happy together, and like just like the most feel good show where like the only drama is like, are we going to get the show ready in time? Like that's all I need.
It's never that easy.
Like, I mean, even in the strongest friend groups, you can expect some crazy drama.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of room for some drama to happen. But yeah, it's really nice that we kind of get to start the season as like, coming off of a high of doing our first show together.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and since Kathleen did bring up Gina and Ricky, we're split. We're split on this podcast, so
we are.
We need you to tell us: are you team Nene and Ricky or Ricky and Gina?
Woo!
Yeah, I am the same way. It really depends on the episode. I think the way that it ended, it ends with Ricky and Nene. I think that they need each other at that time. They've been pining for each other after all that they've been through. I think it's a great ending. But the moments that we get to see between Ricky and Gina are also so special. And I loved their relationship, no matter what it, develops into. I think that what they showed and how, they're both going through things at home and they kind of found like a safe place with each other. And I think that was very special. So yeah, I also flip-flop back and forth because I think both make sense.
Me too.
I think you're with the person that you're supposed to be with, whatever feels right. And also they're high school kids. So like, crazy things happen all the time. But I'm not set on one. I think they're both beautiful in their own ways, for sure.
Gina comes back for the opening night, and Ricky goes, "I'm just not the guy I was a week ago." I'm like, that is high school, baby.
I know, that was just
oh my gosh, so 16. So 16.
So I just love an underdog. And even though, I mean, Nene is like, of course, Nene and Ricky are like meant to be. They're so sweet. And especially they go back to all that kindergarten stuff and all the like puking on the shoes and like all the wacky stuff. I love all that. It like melts my heart to pieces, and the I love you scene is whatever. But Gina and Ricky, I'm like, there's something there. They understand each other, and they're just like they're going through the same type of like stuff at home. I don't know. I'm kind of like a Gina, but whatever happens, I just don't want it to cause turmoil, because I really do enjoy watching Ricky and Nina get along, and Gina and Ricky get along, and Gina and Nene. Like, I want Gina and Nene to be friends ultimately. So Ricky's just gonna screw that up.
Totally.
I'm a friendship girl.
We need to take boys out of the equation.
Exactly.
Let's just send Ricky to acting camp.
Okay, since she's going to talk about Ricky, I have to out her. Julie is obsessed with Ricky. It's sick. Because we're 27.
I'm turning red. Stop.
I mean, he's a little cutie heartthrob. How can you not? But,
I was like,
but if you better believe that every Instagram Joshua post, I get a DM in my Instagram.
Oh my God. That's so great.
It's so embarrassing. I actually was like, I looked up his age. I was like, I have to make sure this is okay before I go any further with this. And Kathleen did Photoshop a picture of me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So we'll have to show you that.
Oh yeah, we'll send that to you. Send that in an email.
Yes.
Wow. You guys are all beautiful, perfect people. So
I'm like sweating. I hate that you just did that to me.
No,
she's a horrible friend.
I like almost promised that I wouldn't do that, and then I just had to.
I was like, when you were like, I've known Joshua, like we did like another theater thing together. Like I was like, all right, good. Like she knows they're friends. She's not gonna say anything. I thought I was like in the clear for her to not say anything.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, he's like a brother to me. We have such a nice like brother sister relationship where we pick on each other, but also we love each other very much. Yeah, he's wonderful.
I'm gonna end up being blocked now because of you.
It's okay. I'm
Julia's gonna be like, there's this 27-year-old with a podcast that stalks you.
For the record, every High School Musical, the series thing we send to each other, but every Joshua thing I get, and I'm like, I follow him too. I don't need a DM.
Whatever.
But no, you guys are all perfect. I like was not expecting to love this show so much, but you guys all charmed me in every single way possible, and I'm just love it. It's the best.
Much.
You guys are all so talented.
Yeah, and you should be extremely proud because that was the most bomb show of 2019.
Truly.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. It's been really special getting to be a part of it, and seeing it be received so well is really wonderful. So thank you.
Oh yeah. Well, do you have anything else for the people? Since this is your first podcast, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I'm mostly nervous to listen to this back and hate the sound of my voice, but I think that's a given for everyone.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Because in my brain, I sound like this. So,
I wish you did the whole podcast in that voice.
I wish you did too.
We can redo it if you want. We can start at the top. Like, I'll.
No, we'll just need you to come back where we won't hound you with High School Musical. We'll actually talk about your favorite episode of a TV show.
Sure. Oh my God.
Yeah, when season 2's ready to drop, let's talk about the pilot of Broad City.
Hell yeah.
I would love that. Let's do it. But also, talking about High School Musical is also so fun. So we could talk about this forever.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We figured you'd have interviews like this all the time. So we were like, we don't want to just like answer or ask you the same like boring questions.
And then look what we did.
Yeah, and then we did it. So
you definitely did not hit any of the questions that I'm sick of. So thank you for that. But also, I don't do many interviews, like not as much as it might seem. So this was exciting in and of itself. But thank you for not asking me if I've ever seen High School Musical before.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to real quickly just rattle off and answer all the questions that you hate so that people know to stop asking them?
Yeah. Let's for sure do that. That's my least favorite question. Yes, I've seen High School Musical. I'm 20 years old. I was 7 when the movie came out. So there's your answer for that.
I know. Was that when High School Musical came out?
I can't remember.
Was Disney Channel still doing the let's watch a Disney Channel movie?
We gotta watch movie. Oh my god, yes.
Was that still? And they're jumping over the film.
Okay, I used to think that they actually shot that at some crazy water park. I used to be so jealous of those kids in that thing, but it's a green screen. Come on.
I know. The stuff that you believe when you're a kid and then you find out what it really is as an adult sucks.
Julie, are you upset that you didn't get to film commercials where you're hi, this is Julia. And you're watching the Disney Channel, and then you did the little mouse ears?
I know. Honestly, yes, I am a little bit jealous, but also we have our own kind of version where we pretend Disney Plus gets to have their own wand ID, and we draw out a plus sign instead of the Mickey ears. So we have jokes about it, but maybe one day we'll actually do it.
Oh my god, yes, I would love that.
The plus sign is probably way easier. Some of our favorite things are watching people botch the Mickey Mouse with the wand. It's so funny.
Have you seen the Hillary Duff one?
Yes.
We have.
Yes, we have.
I love her. Yes.
She is big, talk about just the greatest.
We are big Hillary Duff people.
Oh my god, I met her at D23. It was nutty. That was our first press event, I guess, the very first time we ever promoted the show. And we were on the carpet answering questions, and just Hillary Duff is right next to me in 3 of the videos, and I'm glancing over every 4 seconds. Such a queen in my presence.
Oh my
wow.
god, that would literally be me. I don't think I'd be able to speak.
No.
I would just be hi.
Oh yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was definitely hard.
Just don't meet your heroes. Don't meet your heroes. I don't know that I could ever. She's a star.
She is.
An actress and a star.
Also, she has looked the same her entire life. Yep. I don't understand what magic water is she drinking. She's beautiful.
I know. Have you ever watched Younger?
I haven't.
Oh my god, you have to watch it. I'm trying to sell Kathleen on it too.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's on my list.
Good. Oh my god, I'll do that for sure. Wow. What a queen.
Yes, a total queen. Yeah, oh my god, Julia, thank you for coming on. This was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. And let's do this again when season 2 comes out. I loved this.
Hell yeah. I know you said you haven't had a lot of interviews, but I see a million interviews in your future. You are a star, my girl.
Yes.
Oh, thanks so much. That means a lot. It was so great getting to meet you guys and geek out about theater. I loved every second.
Us
we
too.
Did too.
We can't wait for you to come back if you're ever in PA. Tell us.
If you're ever in PA. And when you're 21, we'll go get a drink.
Yes.
Yes. 6 months. 6 months.
Hell yeah. That's perfect timing.
Love it.
If you're ever on a Philly tour, we will pop by.
We will absolutely be there. Oh my god, do you remember when High School Musical did the live tour?
No.
High School Musical did a live tour.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go.
I was going to say, we didn't go together.
I didn't go because Zac Efron wasn't there. I was like, what is the point of this? Why would I go to this?
I hope that if you guys tour and Joshua didn't go, that she would still go.
I would. Just for you, Julia. I'm not a fake fan, okay?
Tour would be nuts with this show, but I'm so down for that.
Me and Julie would be the only 27, and producer Matt, the only people that we'd be.
I know.
Everyone would bring their kids, and we'd be there. Just.
Well, and it kills me because I watch, I go on your guys' Instagram and look at your stuff, and there's so many young kids that are stands where they just tag you in the craziest shit. If you ever look at the tagged photos, and I'm dude, I don't stand a chance getting noticed on here because these 11-year-olds keep posting the same picture and tagging. I'm so pissed.
Those 11-year-olds aren't on this podcast.
God, I know. They can't be. They're not allowed.
They need parental permission.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna keep. If you don't stop us, we're never gonna end this.
All right, that was another episode of my favorite episode of. Thank you, Julia. That was incredible. Thanks for listening, everybody, and tune in next week for another episode.
Thanks, guys.
We're all in this together, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Thanks for having me.
This has been My Favorite Episode Of. My Favorite Episode Of is produced by Matt Kelly as part of the Geekscape Network and hosted by Julie and Kathleen. Check out our show notes for all of our socials and email us at myfavoriteepisodepodcast@gmail.com. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting apps, and we'll be back next week with another episode of My Favorite Episode Of.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.